Hello, everyone. A very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're connected from. I'm very happy to welcome to yet another episode of TLR Shows. This show has been conducted regularly by TLR Now. TLR Now is a niche training, mentoring, coaching, consultancy firm which provides customized training solutions to all your training needs. I'm your host from TLR Now. TLR shows, as you have been watching, this is the 55th episode today. I'm very happy to present that. We started in April with the first show, and we've come a long way. And I'm extremely delighted to have Kate Onakomaiya here with us today. She's an accomplished professional, my fellow John Maxwell team member, and a dear friend of mine, all the way from Nigeria. Welcome, Kate. Kate, I think I
Thank you.
pronounced your name correctly, right?
Oh, yes, perfectly. Thank you.
Yeah. So Kate is an executive. Yeah, Kate is an executive director and President's Advisory Council member with the John Maxwell team. She is the founder and lead coach at Exponential Growth Academy Limited, a coaching, leadership, development, and training organization in Nigeria. She is also a strengths strategy certified coach. She works with individuals and organizations who are focused on building their people and organizations, improve engagement at all levels, and leave a legacy. She is passionate about helping individuals and organizations achieve clarity, unlock their potential, and purpose to become the best version of themselves. She has been privileged to serve on transformational leadership missions to Paraguay and Costa Rica alongside the John Maxwell Leadership Foundation. She has spoken to audiences of over 3,000 people and shared the stage with John C. Maxwell himself. She advocates intentional growth and development as the catalyst that makes the future better for people and organizations. A very warm welcome, Kate, to our show today.
Thank you, Nalin.
Right. So, Kate, I'm very excited to have you here with us. We've been wanting to bring you for a long time, but unfortunately, we could not align calendars. I'm very happy that you're here with us today. But I was a bit curious when I went through your profile, Kate. What actually means being a strategy certified coach, and how it complements your coaching, development, and training skills?
Oh, thank you, Nalin. So, being a strengths coach, it means I work with people to unlock their strengths and to understand how to maximize those strengths in their everyday life to achieve greater performance. And first of all, greater performance in their personal lives and then in their professional lives. Because I
Right.
believe that growth starts from the inside out. So when I work with people, we unlock your strengths from the inside out. We help you understand those strengths, and we help you to also use them every day of your life to achieve greater results, greater performance, and be more engaged
Right.
with yourself and with your life.
Right.
So that helps
Right.
me with my clients, understanding them. And one thing
Right.
that I love about being a strengths coach is after working with people, knowing their strengths, understanding it, using it, they can coach themselves. So after the
Mm.
period of working with them, I show them how to self-coach.
Right, right,
So
right.
they
So,
don't need
right.
me
So
after.
there's a certification for that, yeah. There's a certification for strength strategy coach.
Yes,
That's
there
awesome.
is.
That's awesome.
There
Mm.
is there are certifications for that. Yes, there is one I took. There's one with People Equity. That's a company that offers that certification. That's the one I have. And then there's another one with the Gallup organization.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. And as our mentor, Dr. John Maxwell, says that you should always be in your strength zone and constantly push out outside the comfort zones. I think the importance
Absolutely.
of strength cannot be undermined. Absolutely.
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 Because when you understand your strengths and you focus on them, you see that weaknesses can be easily managed. You can manage your weaknesses because we've seen studies have shown that weaknesses are actually misapplied strengths. So if you're
Right.
not using your strengths correctly, maybe you're overusing your strengths, it becomes a weakness. When you're underusing your strength, it becomes a weakness. And
Right.
when you are blind to your strengths, to the strengths that you already have, it's a weakness. They
Correct.
become weaknesses. So when we understand our strengths and we're using them properly, correctly, and that's where strength strategy comes in, a strategy on
Right.
how to use your strengths properly, maximize them, then you can be
Mhm.
more effective.
Awesome. Awesome. Wonderful. Wonderful. I think that's a new thing that our audience would have learned today about being a strengths strategy certification and getting a coach certification there. Wonderful. Kate, we would also like to know something more about the people transformation programs that you experienced in Paraguay and Costa Rica, because I think those were directed at the government level to push down to the governmental machinery and kind of transform the country as a whole. So it would have been a wonderful experience. So I think we would like you to kind of tell our audience about that.
Right. Okay. So I went to Paraguay with John Maxwell and the John Maxwell Leadership Foundation and about 250 other coaches in I think that was February 2016. Yes, February 2016. That's the first time we went to Paraguay to train the entire nation on values, because we've seen that values, when we live our values, we are transformed personally and as a society. So the country of Paraguay, they realized that they want to be better. They want to come out of the ruts that they found themselves in. They have a lot of corruption. People don't value each other. They don't value their country, and they saw that if they can align with their values, then they can have a better society. So we were invited to train them on their values, to help them to live and align with those values that they hold here. And we did that. We went to Paraguay. We trained on all the 8 streams of influence in the country. That is government, sports, health, faith, non-profits, business, and individuals. So we trained at all levels. We went at to all the levels of the economy of the country and trained them from the top, the president, to the schools, the children
Mm.
in schools, training them on values. And
Right.
this
Right.
has been so effective because right now they're living by their values and they're seeing transformation in their country, transformation in the way they behave, in the way they relate with each other, in their perception of governance and politics. Yeah, so that has really improved the country. And we've also
Right.
done that in
Right.
Costa Rica, Nalin. We did that in Costa Rica in 2018. And
Okay.
we have, John currently has invitations to over 26 countries. We could have gone to Kenya this year, but because of
Yeah.
the pandemic, we couldn't go
Yeah.
to
I was
Kenya.
looking forward to joining that in Kenya.
Yeah, that would have been great because when we go to this mission, I call it a mission, leadership transformation missions. The first person that is transformed is you. Because when you see
Absolutely.
those values, you start living the values first, and then you teach others how to live those values. And when we live those values, there's a kind of peace and fulfillment that we find because we understand that we're connecting with who we are from the inside out, from the inside. Because values are essentially our core. They are at the core of us, who we are inside. So when we
Right.
connect to that aspect and we are able to express it outwardly, we find
Right.
we are more balanced as a person and as a society.
Right. Right. So, Kate, what when you went to Paraguay and Costa Rica, what kind of acceptability you saw? Because I mean, it's difficult. Change is always for the good, but obviously there's a resistance to change, and especially when you are doing such a mammoth task of transforming the country as a whole, you're dealing with thousands of people. So,
Yeah.
how does it look like in terms of how was the acceptability? How was your experience?
Oh, it was great. I mean, the people were so ready for change. Where there is corruption, where there is confusion, where there are challenges, people want change. They want to see a better society. When we're not happy with the way our country is, our society is, our family is, our lives are, and we are longing for change. And we
Right.
see that hope. We see that hope. We see a system that if we can apply it, it can help us to be who we really want to be and to see the change that we want to see around us. We accept it. So the acceptance was really great in those countries. And you know, there are Spanish speaking countries, and we had interpreters, lots of interpreters, volunteer interpreters, as young as 14, 16-year olds, you know, from all
Right.
ages, teenagers to adults, you know, they came in to volunteer to be interpreters and to also volunteer to become trained as facilitators of those values. So when we
Right.
leave, we can continue the process of training others on the values. So it's a continuous process. It's not a one-time thing. Right now, it's still ongoing in those countries. People are being trained on values and they
Mhm.
are being held accountable. That's one thing one great thing about those transformation mission, the
Right.
fact that it's not a one-time thing, and the people get to understand that they have to keep it running, they have to keep it going. So
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
is that space for
Absolutely.
continuity. Yes, right.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Wonderful. Kate, I mean, today you are an accomplished professional. You are having your own coaching practice. You've got a large platform of clients spread across various domains. But if I take you back, which hurdles did you personally face and how did you overcome them to have reached where you are today?
Oh, thank you, Nalin. That's a great question. Hurdles, there were so many because I left I left a banking career, a very
Hmm.
lucrative banking career to start my own business. Initially, not the coaching business. I just wanted freedom. I wanted to, you know, own my space, my time, and also have time for my family. That my family was
Right.
very young. Yeah, so I needed that time to focus on them, to take care of my young family. And I decided to go into business with very little experience about business, except helping my mom with her restaurant when I was a teenager. You know, that was the only business experience I had. So
Right.
right now I have to, you know, be the CEO, I have to be the accountant, I have to be the salesperson, I have to be the marketing agent, I have to be the IT. So all those things were overwhelming in the beginning. And it took me a lot of time to learn, you know, first of all, to learn how to do it on my own, because I think that's one of my strengths. I like doing things on my own, DIY.
Right. Right. Right.
So I had to learn to delegate, to get other people to help me.
Yeah.
So my biggest challenge, I would say, when I got started was getting help, the right kind of help,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
to help me to get the business up and running.
Right.
And
Right. Right.
that was really key for me. Once I was able to do that, to get the help I needed, things became better.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think reaching out to the right people is very important. Yeah. Who
Yeah.
to ask for help is important.
Right. I think I should say one other challenge I had was acceptance, Nalin. Because
Yeah.
at the time when I got started, coaching was really new in this part of the world. People
Right.
didn't know what a life coach is, what a performance coach is. So we're familiar with sports coaches, but personal
Absolutely.
coaches, no. So getting people to understand what I do, what I was doing at that time was really key, especially starting from my family. My family at that time, my close friends, they thought, okay, what's she doing? What do you think you're doing? I mean, is this thing going to pay you? Are you
Yeah.
going to really
Correct.
get money out of this thing? So it was challenging getting them to understand that what I am doing is legitimate and it's a profession, it's a lifestyle that I'm engaging in, and it's a business. So it was hard to get them to understand, but eventually they understand. They supported me. Yeah, they supported me because they love me. So, okay, if you think you're happy with this thing, you like what you're doing, we're happy for you, we'll support you. But we don't know what you're doing.
Right, right, right. And I think if you're true to your values,
Yes.
you eventually succeed, right? Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
eventually. Yeah, so that was a long road. And I think I stopped looking for that acceptance. It was okay for them not to understand at that time because I knew
Right.
that eventually they were going to understand, which they did.
Yeah.
And currently, I have my husband. My husband is a John Maxwell Team certified coach right now.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes, so it was really hard for coming from that space of him not understanding what his wife is doing.
Right, right, right,
So
right.
right now, he gets it so well that he's also a certified coach, speaker, and trainer. So that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, sometimes I think you have to just stick around. People might not understand what you're doing, even your family. But ultimately, if you are clear on what you are doing and your intentions are right, one day it pays off, right?
Yes, right. That's it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So, talking of values, Kate, how can values help you become a better person and more so a better leader?
Good, good, good. As a person, let me tell you a story. I did it was a 10 weeks values leadership training with a group of about, we started 26 young people and we graduated 19. And, you know, values cannot be taught. They have to be modeled. So as much we want to live our values, we want to connect with who we are because that's what values are. Connecting with who we are from the
Right.
inside. Now, we can't learn values. We have to model the values. So as leaders, we start with leaders and we show them how to model these values, how to live these values, and how to be accountable. So the best way to get people to live by their values is and to abide by them is to model it for them as leaders. We model it for them and then we hold them accountable for living by them. How? How do we hold them accountable? Because when we show them the values and then we ask them to apply it to their lives, they can come up with, little steps, small steps, actions that they can continue to do in line with the values that they have chosen for themselves. So every single day, they do something in line with those values, and we hold them accountable for those things that they are doing. Of course, they
Right.
pick their action steps by themselves. So we hold them accountable for doing that. And over time, they can pick it up from there because it becomes unconscious. When you've done something for a while, it becomes like a
Right.
habit. So you can now
Right.
start holding yourself accountable daily for taking the steps required,
Right.
to live by your values.
Right. So Kate, for a common man, I mean, like generally we know, I mean, giving respect to someone is a core thing that we should be doing. Dealing with
Mhm.
ethics is a core thing that we should be doing. But I mean, if it comes to really consciously putting down values, so how do you determine what your values are, and how can you lead with them? Obviously, I mean, I know that what is right, what is wrong, but still, things happen. Yeah, there are corruption cases happening. There are people treating others with disrespect, and I mean, hating people. There is jealousy. So, how do you
Mhm.
determine what your values are, and how you lead with those values?
Awesome. So we determine our values. How do we determine our values? What's important to you? So you have to first of all know what is important to you. I'm happy you mentioned respect. So as a person, if respect is important to you, you have to start with yourself first of all. It has to start from the inside out. So you need to respect yourself. Learn how to respect yourself. How do you learn how to
Right.
respect yourself? By being true to yourself, committed to
Right.
yourself, and you know, doing the things, keeping the promises that you make to yourself. Really, so that's
Right.
respecting yourself, honoring who you are, honoring your body, your mind, your spirit, honoring every aspect of you. So once you have done that for yourself, you can do that for others. You can respect
Mm.
others. You value yourself enough. You respect yourself enough to
Right.
respect other people. So that's how we get to understand that, okay, this is important to me. Yes. So I have to apply it to myself. I have to be respectful to myself. Then I can be respectful to others. But you determine what's important to you, what makes you who you are. Respect. I value respect. Okay. I value faith as a person. One of my values is faith. I want to connect with God in a meaningful way that brings me joy and fulfillment. So that I first of all have to build it for myself, build that connection for myself and live by it. I value family. That's one of my values. It makes me who I am. So my life is centered around those things that I hold important, and I live by them. I connect from the inside out to them. Then I can spread it to others.
Mm. And I think if you know your values in advance, it is very easy or becomes comparatively easier to handle life situations in future because you know
Totally.
what you stand for, right? Yeah. For example,
Yes.
if ethics is your core value, then if something wrong happens, you are ready to handle that situation.
Right. Totally. Yeah. If ethics, for example, if ethics is your core value, you will know everywhere you go, it's going to show. It's going to show at home, it's going to show at work. It's not, it's just who you are. So you carry it with you everywhere you go. It's going to
True.
show in maybe in your communities, in your networking group. It's going to show in the way you do things, the way you do things, the way you speak. It's going to
Yeah.
show, and people are going to notice it. It's like a light that you carry around you. So
Mm.
don't drop it off. It's with you.
Yeah.
It's important. It's part of you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you genuinely believe in something, I think it becomes a lifestyle. And that's how it
Right.
should be. Yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
has to be your lifestyle. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
if one situation can really change your value, then you need to think really, is it your core value? If it was so easy
Oh,
for one incident to change your stance, right?
yes.
Absolutely.
It's so true. Not so true, Nalin. So
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
for me, values are they're like the true north. The true north is fixed. It's a fixed point. So your values are fixed. That's how it should be,
Right.
really.
Right.
You can't
Right.
be swayed by anything. That's the direction your life is. It provides you with direction. It's fixed. Can't change.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right, right. Absolutely, absolutely. So, you've been talking about values, you've been coaching people on values. So, have you encountered instances and you've seen anything? What happens when we do not follow or live by our values as a company, as a society, or as a person? I mean, are there any examples you would like to share with our audience today?
Hmm. So many, Nalin, every day around me. That's why I do what I do. That's why I was so inspired and motivated to start working on values-based leadership. To not just end it when I went to Paraguay and Costa Rica, but to take it as a personal mission, to live by good values and help others around me live by good values. Because where I live, where I come from, the value system is it's totally eroded. People don't value each other, and some things that should we know that are wrong. We know that this shouldn't happen. It's happening, and there's a lot of apathy around it. So it's really something that I feel we need to change in my society where I come from. It's a lot of corruption, a lot of deceit, lack of ethics. Um, of respect, really. So people really don't connect with their values. And that's
Mm.
why I'm doing this, so that I can help others connect with their values, because the values are somewhere in there. They're
Absolutely.
somewhere in there. We just need to connect with them and then align with them. And that's it. When the society or a person does not align by their values, there is confusion, there is corruption, there is lack of growth, lack of advancements as a person, as a community, as a, there will be a lot of how can I say, no progress. You progress a
Yeah.
little bit. Yes, the progress will be just small progress, and then you now retrogress. There'll be a lot of
Right.
retrogression, a little
Mm.
progress, more retrogression. So that's what we see around us. And I believe that if we can align with our values,
Right.
our societies can become more aligned. People would know the right thing to do and do it because it's part of them, not
Right.
because it's expected of them, by externally, but because they expect it of themselves.
True.
It's part
True.
of who they are.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what happens when we don't align with our values. The consequences are really terrible. We see that around us.
Right.
I see it around me. I just need to look out my window and it's there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when we
Yeah.
align with our values, of course, it's the opposite. We have
Yeah.
a better society. Yeah.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. I mean, values are our inner core, and I think each one of us knows what is right and what is wrong. But
Yes.
and human beings are human beings. Sometimes people knowingly or unknowingly commit to things which is absolutely in the violation of their values. So
Mhm.
when we have lost our values, let's say we've had some instances in our life which has kind of really shaken us. So when we have lost our values, how can we redefine them, come back on track and live by them?
Right. That's good. So we need to, first of all, like what we did in Paraguay, the work we did in Paraguay and Costa Rica, and the work I do with the people that I'm working on with values is, well, first of all, give them the choice. Living by your values it's a choice that you make. It's not forced on you. So it doesn't have to be forced. You need to, first of all, understand that you have values, and you do have values. It's somewhere inside there. You've probably disconnected yourself from them, maybe because of the decisions and the other wrong choices that you have made. So what we do is we help you to reconnect with those values. First of all, who are you? So you find out, who are you as a person, connect with who you are, know who you are. When you know yourself, then you can start looking at what is important to you, and then you can start redefining those things in line with values. And then we show you how to take small steps every day to live by those values that are important to you. So when
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
follow that system, know yourself first of all, know what is important to you, and then reconnect with that thing and start taking small steps every day to live by
Yeah.
those values.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it boils down to the fact that yesterday ended last night and today is a fresh day. Today matters
Totally.
because it does. Yeah, today matters because it does matter. So today
Yes.
has, I mean, whatever happened in the past, you can't do anything. You just have to have seated with a calm peace of mind and then just jot down where you are and move forward afresh.
Right, absolutely. It's really that, Nalin. I love that. I love that. Yesterday ended last night. Today is
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
Yes, that's so
Absolutely.
good. That's so good. And you know what? And when we're working on values-based leadership, that's it. Yes, you've not lived by those values in the past, but you can start now.
Yeah.
Today is a new day. You can start from today and make the rest of your life better than
Right,
the
right, right,
past. Yes.
right,
Mm.
right. Wonderful. So, Kate, talking of the corporate context, like in a corporate life. I mean, people when they join a company, let's take any big names: Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Apple. All these are wonderful companies, right? And when somebody gets a job in these companies, they're so delighted to join. But it also happens that few years later, same people are looking out for a job elsewhere. And 90% of the cases, would it be that people actually don't leave companies, people leave their managers or their leaders. Yeah, because they can't get along with them. And in a majority of cases, there is a conflict of values only, where there are unfulfilled promises or not due credit not being given, kind of those things. So is there a
Yeah.
process for helping leaders get their people to lead with values?
Yes, Nalin. There is a great process. It's a very simple 5-step process that companies can use. So one of the things that I do with companies in line with values is, first of all, to help them understand what their values really are, not what they have put on the wall, right? But what their true values are. It could be the values that are on the wall, right? But then we help them discover that, and then we start training them from the leaders to the listers to the cleaners, probably, or the well, from the top to the bottom. Everybody must be involved in that process of
Right.
aligning with those values, because
Right.
if you say that we'll train middle management and then we don't train the management, let's say middle management, they are living by those values, and then they start seeing loopholes with their managers, with their own leaders. They're not living by
Right.
those values. Because what happens is we have to define these values, and then we understand them, all of us, and we align with them together. We have one understanding. If one of your company's values is integrity, for example, people have different ways of interpreting integrity. Some will say integrity is a value I place on myself. Some will say integrity is doing the right thing, whether someone is watching or not watching. Some people would say, okay, the value I place on myself, I value myself, but I don't value my company. So if we say integrity, it's okay for me, I value myself, so I can go and take up work that is at conflict with what I do in my company. I'm a
Right.
software engineer with Microsoft, for example, and I go and I start taking up work with software work with Apple. That is conflict of interest. But
Absolutely.
I can do it because I value myself, and I want to,
Hmm. Get the best
grow.
out of my potential.
Yes, based on
Yeah.
my potential. But we all know from a values perspective, it's not acceptable. So when we
Hmm.
define the values, everyone has to agree with that definition as a company. So if this is what integrity means to Microsoft, everyone in Microsoft must understand that this is what integrity means to Microsoft. And we can hold ourselves accountable. There are steps to
Right.
follow and things we can do every single day to live by this. And no one is excluded from that process. We start from the bottom to the top to the bottom.
Right.
Everybody lives by that same definition. So as a
Right.
company, we help them, understand their values, align by those values, define them, and then everybody going in with that same definition. Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
think
that's
it's a
a
very, yeah.
it's aligning,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it's a very good point that you brought about that. I think we need to agree internally on what the baseline or what the expectation is, what the benchmark is, and that self realization has to be
Yeah.
there. And the other thing that I think the challenge people face is that people don't accept that they were in the wrong, which is all the more harmful for an organization. So we all realize deep within that we were wrong or we have done something which shouldn't have been done. So we might have failed, but we are not a failure. So that is something which is a very important thing. We fail, but we move on. We take corrective actions and move on. Yeah. So talking of failures,
Yeah.
Kate, I mean, each one of us has their own instances of failure in life, and then we've kind of got back, bounced back. So what is your biggest instance that you could recall of failing, and what did you learn from it, and then you've come a long way?
Oh, I failed many times. Many times. My biggest instance of failures is not being true to who I am. For me, I'm very keen on doing what I say I am going to do. So, especially with my family members, family is one of my core values. I can remember it at a time in my life when I started building my business. I used to drop out of, find excuses. I'm busy, so I won't attend my kids' school events. I won't be there for them. So for me, that was a time when I was failing because it's part of my values and it was always eating me inside. I will beat myself up so severely because that's what happens when you're not living by your values with who you are. Inside, you know it, you
Right,
feel it from inside of you. So that time early on in my profession, it took me some time to understand that this is my value and it has to come first. So for me, that was one of the biggest failure, and it showed in the results, results of my kids in school. It showed, and it also showed up in the results I was getting in my life, in
right,
my business at that time.
right,
I was so
right,
disorganized until I had to come back and sit myself down and say, Kate, no, this has to stop. Some things have to just go. You have to let go of some things and you need to find alignment. That's when I started looking for help, how to get help for my business, for what I
right.
am doing. Yes. So that was one of the major driving factors for me. I mean, talking about it right now, I can just picture, how my kids say, Mommy is never there for us. Mommy, you're never there.
Mm. Yeah,
So I had to align everything. I do most of my work from home right now.
wonderful.
And I've also structured my life in a way that my kids have my time. I call them
Awesome.
my daily commitments. So I have daily commitments, and part of they are in my daily commitments. Spending time with my family, my husband, my kids. It's part of my daily commitments, and it's something that I do intentionally. So that brings me joy. That brings me fulfillment. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, we need to be focused on what we should be clear on what our priorities are, I think, and we need to constantly strive towards setting it right if it is not already right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Kate, we've got one wonderful comment from our one of our audience member, Brigadier Jayan Tiwari. He says that value alignment has to be across through the leadership ladder, and the organizational values have to be a common agenda. So, absolutely agree. That's a wonderful point, Brigadier Tiwari, you've made.
Yeah. And that reminds me because I used to work for a multinational bank, and
All right.
I know and we had values. The bank was built on values, and our performance appraiser. One of the questions was to demonstrate how you have lived by those values throughout the period. And unfortunately, we knew those values. I remember one of them was responsibility. But like I mentioned, people define the values in their own way. So
Yeah. Yeah.
there was no standard definition of what it meant for the organization and how we're expected to live by those values every single
Mm.
day.
Mm.
Yes. So you have those values, you expect your people to live by those values. If you are aware of the values, they are on the wall, you see them every day. But if there is no standard definition, everybody defines them in their own way. So when you
Correct.
sit in
Correct.
front of your manager during your performance appraisal, he's appraising you based on his own interpretation. of the values, and you have your interpretation. So we always thought it was a subjective method of appraisal, which is
Right.
true. So
Right.
companies have to define the values and you
Yeah.
know communicate those definitions, not just integrity, responsibility, and customer service, and then you put it on the wall and expect people to interpret them. No,
Correct.
interpret them for them.
Yeah, you have to live by those values, and there has to be a common definition. Absolutely.
Yes, totally.
So, Kate, in your journey, what are the best resources that have helped you along the way?
Oh, primarily I'm a John C. Maxwell certified coach, and
Absolutely, I
I use
agree.
I use John's materials a lot. Those have helped me tremendously. And as a person of faith, I'm a Christian, so I use the Bible. I read the Bible. It's a guide for me as a person. Those have helped me a lot. And I have mentors. I have their books. I'm just looking at them. Stephen Covey. Stephen Covey is one of my mentors, especially when it comes to this part of my life. This work I am doing, values-based work and strength strategy. Stephen Covey has done a lot of work in that area, so his resources have been key
Right.
for me
Right.
in that area. Yeah. Yeah. And
Awesome.
the Gallup
Awesome.
organization too. I use their strength assessment in my
Right.
work. Yes, so that
Right.
has
Right.
been good. Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So, Kate, what do you consider as more important, vision, mission, or core values?
Oh, which one is more important? Vision, mission, or values? In what order? Let me see.
Yeah, we don't have an answer,
Ah,
so you have to give it.
that's really something to think about. For me, maybe I should put it this way. Maybe core values, because core values connect us with our purpose, who
Yeah.
we are, and why we are here. So values, first of all, yeah, because they connect us with our purpose. That is one
Correct.
thing that does not change. Yeah, that's one thing that does not change. Then we have vision.
Yeah.
Vision will be next. Vision is the picture you have of those values, the picture you have of your purpose, the picture you have of yourself at a certain point in time. So vision can be broken because we have different phases of our lives, different stages. My vision when I was a teenager, my vision was different from when I became a young adult to when I became an adult, a parent. So vision can change depending on
Correct.
the stage of life. Yeah. Yeah. So the mission is what is driving you. What is driving you to, move in the direction that you're moving in. So your mission
Yeah.
drives you.
Yeah. 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 But I think the core values are the foundation, the strong foundation, and the
Yes.
stronger the foundation, the better the building would be. So I think that is,
So
and as John says, that talent is never enough. So you may be a highly skilled professional with all the competencies in the world. The character fails, everything fails, right?
totally. Everything fails. The greatest failure is a failure in character.
Yeah.
We see that every day. And that's why character must go really deep. Yeah, your values must go really deep if you want to build a strong foundation. And if you want to leave a legacy, a good legacy, you need to
Yeah.
go deep on your values, deep on your character.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct. It is more important to be good on the inside than good on the outside.
totally.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, besides values, Kate, what would you consider are the key attributes for business leaders to be successful in today's times?
Purpose. Yeah, why? Yes.
Mhm.
Why are you in business? You have to define it. And why are you doing the business you're doing? Why are you working in the company that you're working in? So why are you a software engineer? Why are you a coach? So it all starts with why you are doing what you are doing. So your purpose, key. Once you're able to define that,
Yeah, yeah,
everything else can fit into place.
yeah. I think that is wonderfully portrayed in Simon Sinek's lectures as well, starting
Yes,
with
yeah,
why. Yes, so
right.
that's
It's
awesome.
one of my mentors too.
Yeah, yeah. Same with me actually. So, yeah, so it's me.
Great guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely great guy. Very simple philosophy, but
Mm-hmm.
very true to the point. Straight to the
Yes,
point. Yeah.
exactly.
Awesome.
Straight to the
Awesome.
point.
Yeah.
And totally relatable everywhere, anywhere, anytime
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. So we've got another comment or question actually from the audience. Is it correct to express that commonality or alignment of values exists when at the higher purpose? So I'm not sure what exactly is being asked, but what I believe is that to achieve a higher purpose, commonality or alignment of values should exist, is what I believe. What your
Yeah,
thoughts on that, Kate?
right. So, yeah, put it that way, to achieve a higher purpose, we must align with our values totally. So if you want to, what if purpose is, for me, purpose is purpose. Purpose is purpose. So it's why you are doing what you're doing. It's your why, you know.
Right,
So to achieve your purpose and to live in alignment with that purpose, you must align with your values. That's true.
right, right,
Very true.
right. And I
Yeah.
think purpose is an ongoing activity that, as they say, that success is actually your journey and not the destination. So you keep moving, keep inching forward to your purpose, and
Yeah.
that's what life is all about. That's what success is all about. That's what
Right.
happiness is all about, right?
Totally.
Wonderful. Kate, it has been wonderful talking to you today, and thank you again for coming on the show. I thank our audience for staying with us here. Thank you so much. I'll see you, Kate, on the other side of the show. Stay on.
Oh,
Thank you so
yes.
much.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye, audience. Until the next show, take care, stay safe. Bye bye.
Bye bye.